I'm really excited to present a new guest today in this ABWCI Dialogues. ABWCI is a virtual chamber of commerce of women working towards social and economic empowerment of women entrepreneurs. It's a community. So it's a community of successful, strong women across the world. And as of now, we are in 27 countries worldwide, growing every day. I'm very excited to present today the 11th episode of ABWCI Dialogue. The Dialogue Chat series is to create a productive space that invites key stakeholders of this ecosystem to join and listen to women in business and industry experts talking about their ideas, journeys, experience, and the challenges. And I'm very glad to present to you today Ms. Godbole. Ms. Godbole is the CEO of the ABWCI Foundation, which is a not-for-profit organization working for the upliftment and the economic development of entrepreneurs and specially focused on women. And Ms. Godbole is a member of various advisory council and also a board member of organizations which are helping in mass entrepreneurship initiatives across India. Ms. Godbole, first, welcome to this show, and we are very glad to host you today. And with this, I have a question, because when I was reading through your profile and also about the organization, and now we are partners with ABWCI, I wanted to understand that, how did you come into this entire, the work which you are doing in the ABWCI and the leadership and the thinking about how you structured, what's your journey? It's multiple questions and you can answer one by one. And very glad that we have a partnership now with you. And I'm excited that we will be working together in the future. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much for having me here. The ABWCI and ABWCI, the partnership, I'm sure is going to do amazing things. You've already done such an amazing job of being in 27 countries and having such a good support system for women, which is really required. So I congratulate you on that. Well, your questions were multiple, and I guess they're they're loaded questions. Let me talk a little bit about my journey into the not-for-profit sector that I'm in right now. So by my background is really in engineering, right? So I did my engineering. Before that, I was just telling you, I was brought up in Canada for a couple of years, and then I came back and did my engineering in India. And then from there, I went back to do my master's in computer science, and I worked in Canada for a couple of years. After that, I felt the need to come back to mother country. Although I was born in Canada, I consider both my mother countries. But I chose to come back, and when we returned back, I joined a technology company. That is that was where I had started, and so I joined Persistent Systems, which is a company which is into outsourced product development, which is founded by Dr. Anand Deshpande. So I joined Persistent Systems, was there for 10 years. And after about the 16, 17 years, I felt that I wanted to get out of the cabin environment, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So, I wanted to get out of that whole AC environment, come out, do something that's closer to me, where I can see the impact directly, because with outsourced product development, you're working with customers who are outside of India mostly. So you're doing things, you're developing products for customers in the UK, in the US. So that's not very tangible, so to say, right? So that's where I was thinking, to say, okay, what is it that I can do closer to home? And which is where, when I went to speak with Dr. Deshpande about this, he was also thinking about what he wanted to do, because at that point in time, the company was...
Which year was this?
This was 2013.
Okay.
So this is 10 years back.
Yeah. Now,
the
thing is, when you now start thinking about 2013, it looks 10 years.
Yeah.
But, the time flies. When you must have started, you must be thinking that, how we will start, the process and all
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. 2013 seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
But we got to talking, and he was also thinking about what he could do to, as a social venture, as a family foundation, although the
Yeah.
company was into CSR and doing all of that, but he wanted to do more. And that's where he invited me to explore what we could do to solve the numerous problems that are around in India. And that's where we connected, and job availability was then a problem, continues to be a problem. And that's really the problem statement that we picked up in 2013. And then I went into it, and exploration turned to interest, turned to, I just want to do something about this. And that's how 10 years have passed by.
But now we're helping so many thousands of entrepreneurs, and you are now an entrepreneur yourself, because when you run an organization like this, it is a social enterprise. But the thing is that, you are helping so many entrepreneurs. What's your feeling? Are we on the right track on the entrepreneurship journey, or do you feel that there is a huge gap which we are looking at from a perspective from outside? Because entrepreneurship is a journey, and all the countries have to work together to create an ecosystem. So according to you, where are we?
That's a good question. So, I think there's a lot that's being done, right? And especially in India, there's a lot of a startup buzz that is now created. And over the past couple of years, Make in India, Stand Up India, there's a lot of policy and schemes that have come out as well. And I think everybody recognizes the need for entrepreneurship, for self-employment, for youth to have options that are not only jobs, right? So the realization has come in. We keep speaking about the demographic dividend, right? And we have a lot of people in working age who need something that provides quality livelihood, all right? So all of that is being talked about, and there is a general sensitization that this needs to happen. I need to take a step back to really explain where I'm coming from.
Correct, please.
Because entrepreneurship is a huge, broad spectrum of things, right?
Yeah.
So if you allow me just a couple of minutes.
Please go ahead, because the audience here wants to understand the services that Dayasra as an organization is giving. Because most important point is you are quite unique in your proposition. So they want to understand your proposition, how you're structured, how they can take help. So you take your time and explain that, because this will be very, very helpful for our audience.
Sure. So let me just give a little bit of context in terms of what we are trying to do and what exactly is the kind of businesses that we are looking at. So the Astra Foundation is a not-for-profit family foundation, it belongs to Dr. Deshpande's family. And we started, like I said, in 2013 to support the really small and tiny local businesses. So if you're looking for examples, things like a beauty salon, right? Anything as you walk through a major city or town, small cafes, fashion boutiques, really the businesses that work within communities in a very hyper-local manner. So we work to support these kind of businesses to grow. And the idea behind this and the whole vision is that there are no jobs for youth to go to. So there needs to be another option, right? And the other option is self-employment, right? It's either self-employment or more jobs need to be created.
Yeah.
Now, how does that happen? On the other side, in India, if you look at the structure of how businesses are laid out, there's a very small section of businesses right at the top, which are the startups, right? There are some at the bottom of the pyramid, which are low income wage kind of employment. And then there's an entire section in the middle of the pyramid, which is these local kind of businesses that typically work very, very informally. So
you're talking about MSME,
in the MSME
yes,
sector.
Yes,
in the MSME sector.
Yeah.
Although at the top, when I say the top, these are large industries, but these are also our tech startups,
yes,
right? The ones which depend on innovation, the ones which depend on incubation before they go to market. So those are quite risky, right? But there's this whole slew of businesses in the middle, which are local traditional businesses. There are a lot of best practices that have already been formed because they've been around for so long. But what has happened is a majority of the businesses are in this section, but they are all small. They have not been able to go to the next orbit, right? So if I were to just give some statistics of the 6 crore MSMEs today that we talk about, the 98% of these are these smaller units which employ less than 5 people, right? 95% employ less than 10 people. And that's where their growth is stunted. So if you just look at the volumes, there are so many of these, but they have remained small. And the only reason they've remained small is because they're not organized. They're not running formally. Nobody knows about them because unless you're formalized.
You're talking about 60 million, 60 million MSMEs, because from our foreign audience, I think they will not understand the crores, but they will definitely understand the millions. So 60 million MSMEs who need support in India. And these MSMEs are they are all over India.
That's right. They're all over India. And if only we can give them that support, will they grow from small to medium to large? And as they grow, many jobs will get created because there's just so many of them. So that is really where all of this comes from, to say, okay, let's go out and support small businesses to grow, to start, to manage their business well, to get formalized, whatever it takes, right? And once they grow, more jobs will get created. There's youth on the other side looking for jobs. Self-employment can be an option as well, where we have support. Acceleration of businesses can also help.
It's a great point. You're talking about the whole regenerating the whole economy, that we are not dependent on large organizations to provide employment, but also looking at how we can make people self-employed and also sufficient to get 2 square meals. So that's what we're talking about. Yes,
absolutely. And you touched upon a very important point. So not only is the quantity of businesses that we work with and scale important, but the quality of the income that comes out of them, right? Because if you work in a city, if you're living in a city, you need enough income to support not just your daily, your daily eating, sleeping, etc., your living expenses really, but also a little for insurance, for your medical healthcare, all of those things covered. It is quite a bit that you require, right?
And they're all, I think majority of them are in informal sector.
Most of them are in informal.
Yeah, because that's also important to say, because they don't have a safety net.
Exactly.
So, that's also another, thinking that there is a huge population and there is a huge gap, which, and there's still a gap because not many, because I'm also encouraging other entrepreneurs to also start thinking about solutions for them. Because this is another big ticket. I can say that there's a big demand of services to the unstructured MSMEs.
Absolutely.
And when we are talking about MSMEs, you're talking about 60 million who are registered, but there are MSMEs who are not registered, who are, they're operating and they are in an economy which is, they're not formal, in the structures. Yes.
Absolutely. And when you speak about the needs, so what we figured out that there are about 50 to 60 activities that this kind of a small business needs to go throughout their life. So from, business planning to getting your compliances and registrations to marketing and managing your cash. So there's 60 things that they need to do. And they're typically one-man shows, right? So there's so much to do. And then if there's no access to information, there's no access to resources, you can imagine how difficult it is to really just stabilize the business, forget about thinking about scale, but just to start it and stabilize it is, it feels like a Herculean task.
Yes.
And it doesn't need to be. So that is really where we come in.
So you started basically helping those first. And the thinking was that this was as a problem statement, because each business or any social enterprise has to think of a problem statement.
Correct.
So in this, how are your services structured?
Yes. So our main mission is the number of entrepreneurs that we would support, and statistics show that for every entrepreneur supported, they would grow to about giving employment to about 2 to 12 people, right? So we rely on the statistics for the job generation part. Our target is to look at how many entrepreneurs can we support in their journeys. So today the platform is supported about 200,000 entrepreneurs who have come to the platform and use something or another in terms of the resources there. So to answer your question in terms of what are these resources, so I spoke about these 50, 60 activities. For each activity, there are 4 things that you will find is available on the platform, and the platform is an online platform. So it's at theastra.in, where one can go and avail of these resources. Number 1 is access to information about each of these activities, right? So awareness, education, we run workshops around, for example, how do I do digital marketing? Right? During COVID, that was a big thing because people needed to quickly go onto the digital marketing channels and they didn't know how. So we created that content and education for them so they could start selling on digital. So information is number 1. Second, if you want to now carry out that activity and you want to do it yourself, then there is a checklist of sorts there, which says, okay, where are you today? Where do you need to be? And to get there, here are the things that you need to do.
So
to get
DIY, which
DIY
tools. Yes.
Exactly. So those checklists are available there. Number 3, if you don't want to do it yourself, because like I said, most of these are one-man shows, right? So if you want to want some help, then what we've gone out and done is built out a service partner ecosystem where we've vetted and onboarded service providers for each of these activities. And at a charge, you can avail of their services, or you, even if you don't use their services, what we've done is we've put up all the material up front in terms of what to expect, what are the inclusions, what are the exclusions, what you should ask about the deliverables, etc. So you can look at this information and go to a local service partner, but you will go there with your eyes open and you know what questions to ask.
Amazing, because this is sometimes, you need very, you can say small help, but that help is also important to see that what are you asking, because if you are asking good questions, you can get good service.
Exactly.
Amazing. That I think this is for people to understand this. This is amazing work which you have done.
Thank you, sir. So these are the 3, and then there's a 4th part which is about community, because really, entrepreneurship is about working in an ecosystem, like you correctly said, right? So we do a lot of offline programs, online programs. We have a business listing, which is a directory of all entrepreneurs, so they can find each other, they can connect with each other. We also run an online magazine where inspirational stories, success stories are shared. There are mentors who come in right over there. Dr. Anand himself answers questions through that medium. So that is really, a way of motivating, inspiring, providing advice, guidance through that tool. So that's really what the program is about.
And this is, what's your plan? For example, now we are with 200,000, entrepreneurs, or, these are people who avail your services. Right. So now if this service has been now stabilized, because you are providing this services, so you're getting constant feedback and all that. Now, what's next now? Because now you are talking about partner development platform, which is basically there are partners which are already in the, because you started as a software company. You understand the technology side of it.
Right.
And now you have built the whole engine of partners and collaborations. So what next now? And is it do you feel that this partner collaboration platform is being used properly, or do you see that people don't understand still?
The problem is huge, right? And it's not solvable by any one organization. Right? There's so many jobs that are required. There's so much help that is required for so many small businesses, right? So I think collaboration is the key. Right. And I wouldn't say that, we've really reached the end of, getting all the collaborations together. There are lots of people doing lots of good work. We found you just a couple of months back, right?
No, I was just thinking that, how this partnership has started. And this partnership has now becoming, and it's bearing results, because if you look at our indirect partnership and indirect membership, we are with 150,000 members, across the world. And it's also increasing, because the thinking is there is no parallel kind of organization like ours, as you're also unique, because virtual chamber of commerce does not exist.
Correct.
So we started also, like, the whole thinking was that there was a need that the chamber is there for policies, advocacies, access to market, access to finance, and the whole technology ecosystem. But hearing your thinking about all these collaboration and partnerships, this is amazing to see that this kind of integration is really important, because this service is not only important in India, but across the world, because all these organizations are looking at this thinking.
Absolutely. And so you asked about what next. So of course, partnerships and collaborations on both sides, working with organizations who are already working with small businesses, who are in the small business entrepreneurs ecosystem, working with them and really amplifying their work in whichever way we can, or providing support to entrepreneurs within those organizations is one part. But then also on the supply side, looking at who all can provide those kind of services.
Who can also come with you as a partner, where the partnership can be where you can provide more services. For example, I'm talking to so many entrepreneurs. They need a lot of services on branding. To say that starting from the logo design, branding, marketing of those kind of things, and that kind of help, which sometimes what happens is we are not geared to talk to MSMEs. Understand? Because we all feel that we all are engaging with big companies. So what is the language to talk to? Now this is more of a conversation we are having to say that, this language is important to understand that there is a big need, and there is also money available there. It's not that MSMEs don't have money, but nobody is approaching the MSMEs as such.
I think more than approach, I think it's access. So everything is there, but MSMEs don't know where to go. So that access is really where the issue is, and creating that awareness to say support is there. If you're looking for it, it's there. I think that's where the bottleneck is today. Like I said, there are a lot of organizations doing a lot of good work, but there's everyone's doing it in silos. So there's really a need to bring it all together and then let people know that it is all there in one place under one roof, and you can go there and pretty much get whatever you require.
No, I as you're saying, I was just thinking that, there is a discussion which we had, and the discussion we had was more on to say, sometimes there are organizations which are looking for money, and there are good people or good organizations want to give money. But the problem is they don't know how to give money to each other.
Correct.
The process, which is basically everybody starts feeling that, okay, my money will get lost. But the thing is, then there are also very, very, you can say, honest, efficient entrepreneurs who are there, who want to use this money, churn this money, and then give the money back, or, with returns.
Absolutely. And identifying those is, I think, really key. Identifying the organizations, identifying the entrepreneurs, identifying the institutes that are work. The academic institutes are doing a lot of work. The funders are doing a lot of work in this. So, there is a lot in the ecosystem to talk about, and there is a lot that everybody coming together.
No, as we are talking, I'm telling you, Pradnya, the thinking is that as an organization like ABWCI, we are doing a lot of work on collaboration with academic institutions. We have partnerships with universities, education institutions. We have with banks and many others. The problem with a lot of these, I can say, networks and organizations, and we are not reaching out. The reach is like, for example, you are with 200,000, we are with 150,000. Combined, we are at 350,000. The thinking is that, but still, if you see how many people will be coming to your website or the portal to use the services, maybe every day or not, because what we are doing is, because of the access to market, we are providing RFPs. the request for proposals on a daily basis from across the world. So the footfall is there, but still it is, the issue is on how people are using it. So these are things which I feel we have to also work together on simplification and simplifying the process, so that more and more people can use those services which are available. Absolutely. Integrating throughout maybe a different technology platform and things like that.
Yes, absolutely. And that's been our experience as well. So if you look at the Astra.in, we started with, a version which was give everything in one go, right? In a box, right? That didn't really work too well because people don't have time to look at such a big version of it. Right? I don't want all 60 activities at once. Give it to me when I want it. So we sort of disaggregated it. And now the technology platform has bite-sized kind of support services in there. Right. Now, once the services are there, what the need came up was, hey, okay, this is all great. I mean, having all these DIY things and someone to do it for us is good, but can you connect us directly to the market, right? So that's what we are working on next, to say, okay, how do we connect businesses directly to, say, exporters or exhibitors? Small retail outlets are allowing space today. So we've been able to negotiate space in retail outlets, in other small locations. So how can you really create market linkages?
Correct. So another question which I have now, because we are having a conversation like this, how are you engaging with the government? Because government is also doing a lot, because they are creating platforms for MSMEs, SMEs, and many others. My thinking is, what is your plan on integration or becoming maybe a service provider for the government?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a very good question. So on the operational side, because we have this engine, we continue to have discussions with how the government can help this engine reach to a lot more people. So that's on the operational side. But one of the things that we've done is on 15th August of last year, we actually started a Astra Center of Excellence in Nano Entrepreneurship. In a research institute, which has 100 years of history of research, called Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics, here in Pune, India. And that center basically will be focusing on policy advocacy to inform and influence both government and policymakers, as well as practitioners. So it is really a separate arm now. Of course, the experiences, the data, the learnings from the Astra will feed into there, but that is an independent agency that will also look at non-Astra nano entrepreneurs.
And also policy advocacy.
Yes,
the policy advocacy to say that, what is the need?
Exactly.
If we have the need, what kind of landscape you can do, and thinking about the whole, from that perspective, I think this is really needed. Another question is that, there is a huge need now to integrate AI. Artificial intelligence in platforms like ours, because one is they click and if they, answer a few questions, we know what are they looking at.
Right.
This is the thinking. Any plans for you to integrate AI on your platform?
We have not thought about it yet, and there is a reason to it. Every need that comes to us is very specific, right? And the way we really do things is first understand on the ground in a human interface manner, how one would answer those questions, how one can help, and then go to the next step to really templatize it or to build an AI. We don't believe that we've reached the stage yet where we really are able to templatize something or to use AI to be efficiently trained, because the AI engine needs to be trained to be efficiently trained to be able to answer successfully. Right. So therefore, we are still in that stage of learning ourselves how to train any kind of AI or chatbot before we sort of put it out, because we don't want the wrong answers to go out. That's the last thing that we want. Right.
So good. It's very candid, from that perspective. Now we have still, a few minutes now, because, we've, completed the first few questions and the conversation. What's now, when you're looking at the ecosystem and the future of your organization, MSMEs per se sometimes are not very good with using technology, coming to the platform and all that. How are you, handling that challenge?
So you'd be surprised, first of all, right? Digitization has become quite prolific in Indian systems, especially on the mobile, right? So if you're able to, sort of use YouTube,
the mobile,
mobile, you can pretty much, sort of use simple platforms. But that aside, I mean, while I say that, I know there are a lot of people, especially, smaller businesses who would rather, not trust or not use mobile technology for running their business or getting support. So the way we address that is, again, through partners and collaborators, right? Because they are the last mile, and there are lots of organizations working with beneficiary communities, and because they are local, the community also sort of reacts differently to the local organizations. What we do is we do the capacity building of the facilitators of the partner organization, and the partner organization and the facilitators then know how to use the platform. And then they use whatever is required from the platform to help onward. So with this, we sort of, again, partners become very important to spread, pan-India. But the platform becomes the engine, and whatever the needs are from all the partners come to us, and we sort of put that into the back-end engine. So we are really the knowledge engine, if you will, servicing all the partners who help forward.
Great. Now, in last 2 minutes, I want to ask you that, now what is your aspiration as an organization and you to further this, to see that you've spoken about, your platform, what are the gaps, how you're moving and all that. Now from, I ask all my entrepreneurs and leaders, what is your aspiration now next? If now you are at stage which you are in and you're doing very well, what next? What's your thinking on that?
So the aspiration remains the same, to reach each and every small business entrepreneur and see
that's the goal. Yes,
that is the vision. Okay. But now that we are at the stage that we are at, I think more on the ground, what I would be looking at is to systemize the whole thing, right? So we've been doing things and we have the engine, but now how do you make it a systemic process and approach across the spectrum? So starting from youth, where we now have an entrepreneurial mindset program, how do you work with youth, systemize it so it goes to all institutions, so everybody's thinking of entrepreneurship at least as a career option, and then proceed on to, so that what we call is seed. Then we go on to the soil part, which is really all these operational support systems that we've built. How do we bring soil into institutions for those who want to start and grow? And then how do we do the climate part, the surround part, which will really provide the policy advocacy, the climate, the magazine, is creating the climate of entrepreneurship. How do we really foster entrepreneurship? Look at policy, look at scheme. So this entire seed, soil, surround, this program, how do we really make it a systemic approach and integrate it pan-India? That is
so
really
you're talking about now, with all the work that you have done, I think the learning is that you're creating this as an ecosystem. Soil is more of enabling ecosystem. And with this ecosystem, you're trying to see that the growth happens when we work on contracting that for the roots, so that the roots are enabled and they're strong, and we are looking at a stronger tree. If I've heard
very well said. Yes, no, very well said. Thank you so much. I'm going to use that as I'm moving.
No, because the thing is, we are very glad to have you today on the show, and also we're very glad to partner with you as an organization. And I want to wish good luck to you and your work which you are doing, and also wish us together for this partnership that which we have signed and we are working on. So all the best, and I'm wishing you good luck, and we'll see you soon again, and we'll do better, bigger things together on this. So thank you so much for joining us today on this show. Thank you. And we look forward working with you more often, and also in not only in India, but in the geographies where we are as such. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the audience, and thank you for having me. And yes, we'll do lots of lovely things as we move ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you so much for this lovely conversation. I want to thank my audience for attending and also listening to our leader on ABWCI Dialogues. We bring in leaders with a lot of experience and also from the ecosystem so that we can present their conversation, their experience, and so that you benefit out of that. So thank you so much for joining us. We will come back to you with a new personality soon, and look forward hosting this again. And thank you again. Thank you so much.